Tonight, I've been sitting here thinking about something we often overlook because it is simply too large to see. I want to invite you to join me in a slow, quiet exploration of the space that surrounds us. Not the stars themselves or the planets, but the vast, velvet silence in which they all rest. It's a curious thing, isn't it? We spend our lives focusing on the things of the world, the objects we can touch, the people we love, the earth beneath our feet. But few of us ever stop to wonder about the emptiness itself. We tend to think of the vacuum of space as a mere lack of something, a blank stage where the play of the universe is performed. But as we settle into the stillness of this moment, letting the weight of the day drift away, we might begin to realize that what we call nothing is in fact one of the most mysterious and profound somethings in existence. Imagine, if you will, the air in the room around you right now. Most of the time, it feels like nothing at all. It's invisible, weightless, and silent. And yet, it only takes a soft breeze against your skin or a deep, slow breath to remind you that you are submerged in a medium that sustains you. The cosmos has its own version of this hidden presence, though it is far more subtle. If we were to travel in our minds far beyond the edge of our solar system, past the final fading reaches of the sun's warmth, we would find ourselves in a place so silent and so vast that the very concept of distance seems to dissolve. Here, in the deep reaches of the interstellar void, we encounter the fabric of space. It is not a hollow gap, but a quiet, invisible tapestry that stretches, curves, and carries the weight of everything that has ever been. In our daily lives, our minds are naturally preoccupied with the solid. We navigate through rooms, move through streets, and handle tools. But for a moment, let your mind drift away from the objects and focus instead on the space between them. Think of the distance between your hands as they rest, or the quiet volume of the room around you. This distance isn't just an absence, it is a structural reality. If space were truly nothing, a literal zero, gravity would have no way to travel from one star to another, and the light from distant suns would have no path to follow to reach your eyes. Instead, we find ourselves living within a cosmic fabric that is flexible and resilient. It is a quiet foundation, an invisible ocean that supports the entire architecture of time and being. As we contemplate this, it's natural to feel a shifting sense of perspective. We are used to thinking of ourselves as solid beings in a solid world, but the deeper we look, the more we see that even the atoms that make up our bodies are composed mostly of empty space. If you were to remove the nothing from within the atoms of your own body, the actual matter remaining would be smaller than a grain of dust. We are, in a very real sense, made of the same mysterious void that fills the heavens. This realization doesn't have to feel cold or isolating. Rather, it is a gentle reminder of how deeply we are integrated into the universe. We are not just observers of the void, we are woven from it. The more we look into this emptiness, the more we find that it has qualities we are only just beginning to understand. Just as a calm lake has a surface that can ripple when a pebble is tossed into it, the fabric of space can vibrate with the echoes of distant, ancient events. When a star collapses or a great weight moves in the dark, the nothing between us and that event carries the news in the form of subtle, invisible waves. It is a medium that remembers, a silent witness to the history of the cosmos. As you lie here, perfectly still, you are resting upon this invisible ocean. You are supported by a fabric so strong it can hold the weight of entire galaxies, yet so delicate that it allows a single photon of light to pass through it, undisturbed for 1 billion years. It's a comforting thought, I think, to realize that there is no such thing as a true void. Even in the darkest, loneliest corners of the universe, there is a field of energy, a potential, a presence. We are never truly standing in nothing. We are always held within the fabric of something much larger than ourselves, a structure that was here long before we arrived and will remain long after we are gone. And as we begin to look closer at this fabric, we start to see that it isn't just a place where things happen, but a participant in the story of the universe itself. To understand this participant, we have to rethink what we mean when we say something is empty. For a long time, even the most brilliant minds thought of space as a simple container, like a quiet, dark room that would stay exactly the same whether you put a chair in it or took it out. But as we sit here in the stillness, we can start to imagine it differently. Imagine space not as a room, but as a vast, invisible sheet of some incredibly heavy, flexible silk. This silk is everywhere. It's between the stars, yes, but it's also right here, moving through the chair you're sitting in and the very air you breathe. This is the insight that changed everything. Space isn't just a stage. It is the floor, the curtains, and the very air of the theater. And it reacts to everything that moves within it. Think about a heavy bowling ball placed in the center of a soft mattress. You can see how the fabric of the mattress doesn't stay flat. It curves and dips under the weight. This is exactly how the universe works, but with a grace that is almost impossible to fathom. Every star, every planet, every moon is like a weight resting on that invisible silk. The sun, with its massive presence, creates a deep, gentle curve in the fabric around it, and it is that curve, that soft, sloping dip in the nothing that keeps the Earth in its steady, rhythmic orbit. We aren't being pulled by invisible strings. We are simply rolling along the beautiful, natural curves of space itself. It is a slow, cosmic dance dictated by the shape of the emptiness. This realization brings a strange kind of peace. It means that gravity isn't a force that's fighting against the void. It is the voice of the void. When you feel the weight of your body settling into your bed, you are feeling your own small, unique curve in the fabric of the universe. You are leaving an imprint on the cosmos, however slight, just by existing. The space around you isn't pushing you or pulling you. It is shaping itself to accommodate you. In the grand silence of the night, it's a grounding thought to know that the Earth is being cradled by the very geometry of the universe, held in a perfect, stable curve that has lasted for billions of years. As we move deeper into this idea, we begin to see that space and time aren't separate things at all. They are woven together into a single seamless blanket. We call it space-time, but you can just think of it as the great flow. When the fabric of space curves, time itself responds. It's as if the rhythm of the universe slows down near a great weight, like a river widening and deepening as it moves toward the sea. In the deep curves created by massive stars, time ticks a little more slowly, a little more deliberately. It's a reminder that our perception of a fast or busy life is only one perspective. In the vast reaches of the curved void, time is a fluid, patient thing, stretching and contracting in harmony with the silence. If you could see this fabric, it would look like a shimmering, translucent web connecting every point in the universe to every other point. There is no part of the cosmos that is truly cut off from the rest. A movement here, a shift there, everything sends a tiny, microscopic shiver through the silk. This interconnectedness is the true nature of the nothing we often fear. It isn't a wall or a barrier. It is a bridge. It is the medium through which light travels for millions of years to reach your eyes, carrying stories of ancient suns that vanished long ago. The emptiness is actually the ultimate communicator, the thing that allows the universe to be a single, unified whole rather than a collection of lonely, isolated objects. And yet, there is an even deeper level to this quiet mystery. If we were to take a magnifying glass, one far more powerful than any microscope ever built, and look at a tiny patch of empty space, we would find that it isn't smooth at all. At the very smallest scales, the fabric of the universe is alive with a kind of hidden energy. It's often called quantum foam, but you can think of it as a soft, low hum, like the sound of a distant hive, or the faint static of a radio tuned between stations. Even when there is no light, no heat, and no matter, there is this fundamental pulse. The void is never truly still. It is a sea of potential, waiting for the right moment to give rise to something new. It makes one wonder about the very beginning, when all this space was born. Scientists tell us that the universe didn't just expand into an empty room. The room itself was created and began to grow. Space is still growing today, stretching out in every direction, like a long, slow exhale. It is carrying the galaxies further apart, creating more of this beautiful, quiet nothing every single second. This expansion isn't a violent or rushed process. It is the ultimate expression of patience. The universe is making room for more time, room for more history, and room for the deep, dark silence that allows the stars to shine so clearly. When you look at it this way, the nothing becomes the most hospitable thing in existence. It is the silence that allows music to be heard. It is the white space on a page that allows the words to have meaning. Without the vast stretches of the void, the universe would be a cramped, chaotic place where nothing could ever grow or move. The emptiness is the gift of breathing room. It is the pause between thoughts, the space between heartbeats, and the stillness that we are all settling into right now. As we drift further away from the noise of the day, we can start to feel the sheer scale of this calm, expanding presence, a presence that doesn't ask anything of us but to exist within it. As we sit with this idea of the universe expanding, making room for more silence, it leads us to a fascinating question. What is the void actually made of? For centuries, we thought of it as a stage, something static and dead. But the more we listen to the whispers of physics, the more we realize that nothing is surprisingly heavy. There is a hidden energy woven into the very pixels of the vacuum, something scientists call dark energy. It doesn't glow like a star, and it doesn't drift like cosmic dust. It is simply a property of space itself. It is a quiet, persistent pressure that lives in the gaps, a soft tension that makes sure the universe keeps unfolding. Imagine walking through a vast, dark gallery. You cannot see the floor or the walls, but you can feel the coolness of the air and the way your voice carries. You are sensing the environment even without seeing the boundaries. Dark energy is like the temperature of that room, invisible, yet determining the mood of everything inside. It makes up the vast majority of our universe, far more than all the stars and planets combined. We are, in a sense, living in a world of shadows, where the light is merely a beautiful decoration. This doesn't make the stars less important. It simply makes the dark more significant. It is the dark that holds the power, the dark that dictates the future of the cosmic story. There is a strange comfort in knowing that the emptiness is so full of potential. In the laboratory, when scientists try to create a perfect vacuum, they suck all the air out of a chamber until not a single atom remains. They cool it down until there is no heat. And yet, even in that cold, lonely box, there is still something left. There are fields, magnetic fields, gravitational fields, and quantum fluctuations that simply cannot be removed. You can take away the matter, but you cannot take away the laws of nature. The nothing is still governed by a profound logic. It still knows how to behave. It still follows a rhythm. Think of a musical instrument, like a cello. When the bow isn't touching the strings, the air inside the wooden body of the instrument is silent. But that silence is tuned. The shape of the wood and the tension of the strings have already decided what kind of note that silence will produce once it is disturbed. The vacuum of our universe is much like that. It is a tuned silence. It is a void that knows how to carry light at a specific speed and how to let gravity curve in a specific way. Even before the first star was born, the emptiness was already prepared for it. The laws were written into the vacuum before there was anyone to read them. This brings us to a beautiful, grounding realization about our own place in this vastness. Often, when we think of the sheer scale of the universe, we feel small, perhaps even insignificant. But if the nothing is so structured, so full of hidden energy and tuned laws, then every inch of the universe is vital. There is no such thing as a waste of space. Every cubic centimeter of the void is a masterpiece of cosmic engineering. And since you are made of this space, and you exist within it, you are part of that same intricate design. You aren't a lonely traveler in a cold, dead house. You are a conscious part of a living, vibrating structure. As we drift deeper into the night, let's consider the texture of this cosmic fabric once more. It is so smooth that we don't feel it as we move through our lives, yet it is rigid enough to anchor the orbits of the planets. It is the ultimate paradox, a substance that is both softer than a cloud and stronger than steel. It allows us to pass through it without any resistance. Yet it dictates the path of every photon of light that travels from the edge of the visible world to the back of your eyes. It is the perfect host, entirely selfless, always stepping back to let the light and the matter take the spotlight. If you could zoom in past the atoms, past the subatomic particles, down into the very basement of reality, you would find that the fabric of space is likely not a solid sheet at all. Many thinkers believe it might be more like a fine, interconnected mesh, a network of information. At this level, the distinction between here and there starts to blur. Everything is connected by threads of relationship. In this view, space isn't a place where things exist. It is the relationship between those things. It is the conversation the universe is having with itself. This perspective changes how we feel about the dark. When you look up at the night sky and see the blackness between the stars, you aren't looking at nothing. You're looking at the connective tissue of the cosmos. You're looking at the very thing that makes the universe a universe. One single turning poem. The dark isn't there to separate the stars. It is there to hold them together, like the silence between notes in a lullaby. Without that silence, the notes would just be a wall of noise. It is the void that gives the light its beauty, its shape, and its meaning. As you breathe in and out, slowly and rhythmically, you can almost feel that cosmic expansion in your own chest. The same laws that stretch the galaxies apart are the laws that allow your lungs to expand and your heart to beat. There is no boundary where you end and the universe begins. The fabric of space is continuous. It flows through you as much as you flow through it. You are resting on a bed, in a room, on a planet, but ultimately you are resting in the soft, curved arms of the space-time fabric itself, a structure that has been cradle-walking the stars for 13 billion years. In this quietude, it is worth reflecting on how this fabric of space also holds the history of everything that has ever been. We often think of the past as something that is gone, a series of moments that have dissolved into the air. But in the vast, stretching nothing of the universe, the past is still traveling. Light is the messenger of the void, and because space is so immense, it takes time for that messenger to move from one point to another. When we look up at a star that is 100 light years away, we aren't seeing it as it is tonight. We are seeing it as it was a century ago. The space between us has acted as a preservative, a long, dark corridor that keeps the image of that star safe until it finally reaches our eyes. This means that the emptiness is actually a vast archive. Every event that has ever produced a glimmer of light or a ripple of gravity is still out there, etched into the fabric of space, moving silently through the dark. The first fires lit by our ancestors, the cooling of the Earth's crust, the very first flash of the Big Bang. All of these stories are still in flight. If we were to travel far enough across the velvet void and look back with a powerful enough lens, we could see the history of our world unfolding in real time. The void doesn't forget. It carries the weight of time with a grace that we can barely imagine. It is a memory that never fades, held in a medium that never tires. As we dwell on this, the idea of nothingness begins to feel less like a vacuum and more like a profound cosmic patience. Space waits for the light to cross it. It waits for the planets to complete their long, slow circles. It waits for the galaxies to drift and the stars to age. It has all the time in the universe because it is the container of time. In our world, we are often rushed, hurried by the ticking of the clock and the pressure of the day. No tut, utsi bizmezhny tishi. There is no hurry. The fabric of space doesn't worry about the destination. It simply provides the path. It is the ultimate expression of being rather than doing. Think about the way you feel when you are standing on the shore of a vast, calm ocean at night. You can't see the other side, and the water seems to go on forever into the darkness. There is a sense of scale there that makes your own worries feel small and manageable. The vacuum of space is an even deeper ocean, but it is one that we are already swimming in. Every cell in your body is a tiny island in this sea of space-time. When you realize that the same nothing that exists between the furthest galaxies is the same nothing that exists between the atoms of your own heart, the universe stops feeling like a cold, distant place. It starts to feel like home. This interconnectedness is what some call non-locality. It's the idea that, at a fundamental level, the distance between 2 points might be an illusion. If space is a single, continuous fabric, then touching one part of it is, in a way, touching all of it. Scientists have found that particles can remain entangled, sharing a connection that defies the limits of speed and distance. It is as if the fabric of space has a hidden layer where everything is still one. As you settle deeper into your rest, you might feel a sense of this unity, the feeling that you are not a separate piece of the universe, but a fold in its very cloth. The darkness you see when you close your eyes isn't so different from the darkness of the deep cosmos. Both are spaces of rest, of recovery, and of hidden potential. In the dark, the body heals. In the dark of space, new suns are forged in the hearts of quiet molecular clouds. The void is not a place of death, but a place of gestation. It is the womb of the future. Every atom of carbon in your breath, every iron atom in your blood, was once cooked in the heart of a star that lived and died within this very emptiness. The void held that star, caught its remains when it exploded, and patiently moved those pieces through the dark until they came together to form you. So, as we lie here, we can begin to let go of the need to fill every moment with noise or action. We can learn from the void. We can see that there is power in silence, and that nothing is often the most important something we have. The space in your life, the quiet hours of the night, the pauses in conversation, the moments of simple breath is not wasted time. It is the fabric that holds the rest of your story together. It is the breathing room that allows your soul to expand, just as the universe expands into the beautiful, dark unknown. The more we accept this stillness, the more we find ourselves in harmony with the great rhythm of the cosmos. We are no longer fighting the silence. We are resting within it. We are like a feather floating in the deep, dark reaches of the interstellar medium, weightless and secure. The fabric of space is beneath you, around you, and within you, and it is perfectly, eternally calm. It has seen the birth of trillions of stars and the passage of eons, and yet it remains as fresh and as potent as it was at the very first moment of creation. In this deepening quiet, it is worth considering a concept that scientists call the zero-point energy. It is a term that sounds technical, but its meaning is quite poetic. It suggests that even if we reached a state of absolute zero, the coldest, stillest temperature imaginable, where all thermal motion ceases, the vacuum would still not be truly empty. There is a baseline of activity, a fundamental shimmer that belongs to the nothing itself. It is as if the universe, at its very core, has a heartbeat that never stops. Even in the deepest freeze of the furthest void, space is alive with a quiet, restless potential. It is a reminder that stillness is not the same as absence. To be still is to be full of life that is simply waiting for its moment to move. We can imagine this energy as a soft, glowing field that underlies everything. When you walk through a field of tall grass, you see the grass move and sway, but you don't always see the wind that causes it. The fabric of space is like that invisible wind. It is the silent mover of the cosmos. It doesn't scream for our attention. It doesn't demand to be understood. It simply provides the energy that allows everything else to exist. As you drift closer to sleep, you might feel your own energy settling down toward that 0 point, a state of pure potential where you no longer need to do anything, but simply be. You are returning to the baseline of the universe, the quiet frequency from which everything arises. There is a profound humility in realizing that we are passengers on a journey through a medium we are only beginning to name. For most of human history, we looked at the sky and saw gods, or monsters, or clockwork. Only recently have we begun to see the stage itself, the beautiful, dark architecture of the void. And yet, even without the words to describe it, we have always felt its presence. We feel it in the awe that strikes us during a meteor shower, and we feel it in the quiet solitude of a starry night. It is the feeling of being part of something so much larger than our daily concerns that those concerns naturally begin to soften and fade. Think of a single drop of water in the middle of a vast, calm lake. The drop is separate for a moment, but it is made of the same substance as the lake, and it is held by the lake's depth. We are that drop, and the fabric of space-time is our lake. We are not lost in the void. We are anchored by it. Every movement we make creates a tiny ripple that travels outward, touching the furthest reaches of the cosmos. This isn't a theory of gravity or physics alone. It is a philosophy of belonging. In the vacuum of space, nothing is truly lonely, because the vacuum itself is the ultimate connector. It is the bridge that spans the billions of light years between us and the most distant quasar. As the night stretches on, the boundaries of the room around you might feel as though they are gently expanding. In the darkness, the walls seem further away, and the ceiling feels higher, until you are no longer in a small, enclosed space, but under the canopy of the entire universe. This is the gift of the night. It removes the visual clutter of our immediate world and allows us to sense the true scale of our home. We are residents of a galaxy, floating in a cluster, drifting through a void that is expanding with a slow, deliberate grace. There is no friction in this movement, no resistance. The universe moves as if it is dreaming, and we are moving with it. Even the most distant parts of the universe, the places where the light has not yet reached us, are made of this same nothing. It is a universal language. If we were to travel to a galaxy on the other side of the cosmos, we would find the same rules, the same curves, and the same fundamental stillness. The void is the ultimate constant. It is the one thing that is truly the same everywhere. It is the great equalizer, providing the same foundation for a grain of sand as it does for a supermassive black hole. In this way, the emptiness is the ultimate expression of balance and fairness. It treats all matter with the same gentle, invisible hand. If you could hear the sound of the void, it wouldn't be a silence that rings in your ears, but a low, resonant hum, the sound of a great bell after it has been struck, vibrating for eternity. It is the sound of existence itself. As you breathe, try to synchronize your rhythm with that imagined hum. Let your breath be slow, deep, and effortless, just like the expansion of space. You're not forcing the air. You're simply allowing it to flow into the space you provide for it. You are practicing the art of the vacuum, the art of making room for life to happen. The more we explore the nothing, the more we realize that it is the most sacred part of the universe. It is the unmanifest, the source from which all stars, all thoughts, and all moments of love emerge. It is the silence that makes the words possible. It is the darkness that makes the light meaningful. And as you let your mind wander through these vast, empty corridors of the cosmos, you might find that the emptiness isn't scary at all. It is a place of infinite rest. It is the softest pillow imaginable, a bed made of the very fabric of reality, waiting to hold you until the morning light returns. This stillness we are exploring is not a cold or sterile thing. It is, in many ways, the very definition of freedom. In our daily lives, we are often defined by our boundaries, the walls of our homes, the limits of our time, the expectations of others. But the void knows no such constraints. It is the only thing in the universe that is truly, fundamentally open. When we contemplate the fabric of space, we are looking at a landscape of pure possibility, where the laws of nature act not as cages, but as the gentle rules of a song. As you lie here, you can imagine those boundaries of your own life becoming translucent, then invisible, until you are as expansive as the space between the stars. There is a beautiful irony in the fact that the more we study the nothing, the more weight it seems to have in our understanding of reality. We used to think that matter, the stars, the trees, our own bodies, was the main character of the story, and space was just the background. But we are discovering that it might be the other way around. The fabric of space might be the primary reality, and matter might just be a localized knot in that fabric, a place where the emptiness has curled in on itself so tightly that it becomes something we can touch. If that is true, then you are not a solid object moving through a void. You are a complex, beautiful ripple in the void itself, a way for the universe to feel its own texture. Think of a piece of music played on a flute. We hear the notes, the melody, and the trills. But the music is actually made of air, the same air that is silent in the rest of the room. The flute just shapes that air, giving it a temporary form and a voice. You, too, are a shaping of the universal fabric. For a brief, wonderful span of time, the void has gathered itself into the shape of a person with thoughts and dreams and the ability to wander about the stars. When we eventually let go and return to the silence, we aren't disappearing. We are simply becoming the silent air again, returning to the vast, quiet source from which all melodies arise. This thought brings a profound sense of safety. If you are made of the same fabric as the universe, then you can never truly be lost. You are always exactly where you belong, held in the same geometric embrace that keeps the moon in its path and the galaxies in their clusters. The void is not a place you can fall into. It is the thing that holds you up. It is the most stable foundation there is. Even if every star in the sky were to go dark, the fabric of space would still be there, patient and enduring, waiting for the next cycle of creation to begin. It is the ultimate insurance of existence. As the night grows deeper, let the scale of this realization settle over you like a warm, heavy blanket. The universe is not a chaotic mess of moving parts. It is a single, unified field. Every breath you take is supported by the same dark energy that pushes the edges of the cosmos outward. Every thought you have is a tiny spark in a mind that is part of a larger, cosmic consciousness. The silence of your room is a small piece of the great silence of the interstellar medium. You are not small in the face of the universe. You are the universe experiencing a moment of quiet reflection. There is a term in physics called vacuum fluctuations, where particles seem to pop into and out of existence from nothing at all. It suggests that the void is constantly trying out new ideas, whispering tiny fragments of matter into being, just to see them dance for a fraction of a second. This tells us that the universe is inherently creative. It doesn't like to be empty. It likes to overflow. Even in its most silent state, it is dreaming of light. As you drift toward your own dreams, you are participating in this ancient cosmic habit. You are letting your conscious mind step back so that the vast, creative void of your subconscious can begin to play. Let yourself feel the weightlessness of this idea. You don't have to hold yourself together. The universe is already doing that for you. The curves of space-time are cradling you. The dark energy is providing the pressure that keeps your atoms in balance. The nothing is acting as the perfect host, giving you the space to breathe, to rest, and to simply be. There is no effort required to exist in this fabric. You are part of the flow, a leaf on a river that is billions of light years wide and infinitely deep. The river knows where it is going, and it moves at a pace that is perfectly attuned to the heartbeat of time. In these final moments of wakefulness, imagine the universe as a vast, dark cathedral of light and silence. You are lying in the center of it, and the roof is the velvet sky, and the floor is the invisible web of gravity. Everything is in its place. Everything is quiet. The nothing that we once feared has become a sanctuary, a place of total peace and infinite rest. The fabric is soft, the curves are gentle, and the silence is a song that tells you that you are home. You are a part of the tapestry, woven with threads of light and shadow, held forever in the beautiful, shimmering mystery of the void. In this slow, rhythmic transition towards the edge of sleep, it is worth contemplating the sheer transparency of the universe. We often imagine the void as a dark curtain, something that obscures our view or hides the truth of things. But in reality, the fabric of space is the most transparent substance imaginable. It allows light to travel across the span of billions of years without losing its way. A photon born in the heart of a distant, ancient star can travel through the absolute nothing for eons, and when it finally strikes your eye, it is as pure and clear as the moment it was created. This tells us that the void is not a barrier. It is a perfect messenger. It is the clarity that allows us to see the light of the past. Think of the way a mountain lake becomes a perfect mirror when the wind dies down. The water is so still and so clear that you can see every pebble on the bottom and every star in the reflection. Our universe is like that lake. The nothing is the clarity that makes the something visible. If space were crowded, if it were filled with noise or thick with fog, we would be trapped in a small, dim bubble. But because the void is so vast and so empty, we are given the gift of the horizon. We are allowed to look out and see the beginning of time. This transparency is a form of cosmic honesty. The universe doesn't hide its scale from us. It offers us the space to see exactly where we are. As you lie there, you might start to feel that same clarity beginning to settle within your own mind. Just as the universe is mostly empty space, our thoughts are often just small points of light floating in a vast, quiet consciousness. We spend so much of our day focused on the objects of our thoughts, the worries, the plans, the memories. But tonight, we are shifting our attention to the space between the thoughts. We are focusing on the background, the silent awareness that holds everything else. This awareness is your own personal version of the vacuum. It is the part of you that is never disturbed, never rushed, and never crowded. It is the quiet room of the soul where you can truly rest. This internal space is just as resilient as the fabric of the cosmos. No matter how busy or loud your day was, this inner silence remains untouched. It is like the deep ocean floor. While there may be storms and waves on the surface, the depths are always calm, always pressurized by a steady, unwavering peace. You are descending into those depths now. The pressure you feel is not a burden. It is the comforting weight of the silence, tucking you in, holding you steady. The more you let go of the surface, the more you realize that this stillness is your natural state. You don't have to create it. You only have to sink into it. Consider, too, how the fabric of space handles the most intense events in the universe. When stars explode or black holes collide, they create gravitational waves, tiny ripples in the very structure of nothing. These ripples are so subtle that they pass through planets, through mountains, and through our own bodies without us ever feeling a thing. The void is so strong that it can absorb the most violent energy in existence and turn it into a gentle, invisible shiver. It takes the chaos of the material world and smooths it out, turning it back into silence. You can do the same with the echoes of your day. Every stress, every loud moment, every fragment of urgency. Let the vast fabric of your rest absorb them. Let them become ripples that fade into the infinite velvet of the night. In the grand architecture of the cosmos, there is a concept known as the cosmic web. It is the idea that galaxies aren't just scattered randomly. They are strung like glowing pearls along invisible threads of dark matter and space. This web is the skeleton of the universe, the hidden structure that gives everything its place. Even the loneliest, most isolated star is part of this network, and so are you. There is a thread of this cosmic web that passes right through where you are resting. You are connected to the movement of the tides, the rotation of the Earth, and the slow, majestic drift of the Milky Way. You are a knot in the great weaving of existence. As your breath becomes shallower and more effortless, imagine the room around you dissolving into this cosmic web. The walls are no longer solid. They are made of the same shimmering, transparent threads as the stars. You are lying in the center of a great, dark network of peace. There is nowhere you need to go because you are already everywhere you need to be. The fabric of space doesn't move from one place to another. It simply is. And tonight, you are practicing that same simple state of being. You are the space, you are the silence, and you are the rest. The universe is a long, slow breath that has been exhaling for 13 billion years. It is an expansion of grace, an opening of doors, a making of room. As you drift closer to the final threshold of wakefulness, feel yourself exhaling with it. Let your mind become as wide and as clear as the interstellar void. There is nothing to hold on to, and nothing to push away. There is only the fabric, soft, strong, and eternal, cradling you in the dark, reminding you that in the heart of the nothing, everything is perfectly, beautifully okay. In this soft, unfolding landscape of the mind, it is helpful to think about the curvature of this cosmic fabric one last time. We often imagine that to travel through the universe, we must move in straight lines, pushing through the dark. But the void has a memory and a shape. It is flexible. Because space and time are woven together, the very path you take is a collaboration with the emptiness. If you were to travel far enough in a single direction across the vast reaches of the nothing, the curvature of space-time might eventually bring you back to where you started. The universe is not an endless, flat desert. It is a self-contained, infinite embrace. It is a structure that always, eventually, leads back to center. As you drift, imagine yourself as a small glowing point on that great curved surface. You are not moving against the grain. You are resting within it. The curves of the universe are like the gentle contours of a valley, designed to hold the water of a still lake. There is a profound sense of security in this geometry. You cannot fall off the edge of the universe because there is no edge. There is only the continuous, seamless flow of the fabric. It is a closed loop of peace, a cycle that sustains itself without effort. This is the same cycle you feel in your own rhythm. The inhale that leads to the exhale, the wakefulness that leads to the sleep, the life that leads to the rest. Within this fabric, there is also a quiet phenomenon called frame dragging. It is the idea that as a massive body like the Earth rotates, it actually pulls the fabric of space along with it, like a spoon swirling in a jar of thick honey. Even as you lie perfectly still, the space around you is being gently stirred by the rotation of our planet. You are being carried through the dark by a cosmic current that is as steady and reliable as the ticking of an ancient clock. You don't have to swim, you only have to float. The universe is doing the work of movement for you, spiraling you through the heavens at incredible speeds, yet doing so with such grace that you feel only the deepest, most profound stillness. This is the beauty of our existence within the void. It is a journey without friction. In our daily lives, every movement requires energy, every task involves resistance. But in the grander scale of the space-time fabric, the movement is effortless. The stars don't struggle to stay in their orbits. The galaxies don't tire of their expansion. They are simply following the path of least resistance through the nothing. Tonight, you can adopt this same cosmic strategy. Let go of the friction in your mind. Slide into the grooves that the universe has already carved for you. The path to sleep is not a mountain to climb. It is a gentle slope that leads naturally into the dark. The more we look at the universe as a fabric, the more we see that it is a masterpiece of economy. Nothing is wasted. The empty space provides the gravity that holds the stars. The gravity provides the heat that ignites the light, and the light provides the energy that creates life. It is a perfect, closed system of transformation. Even the nothing is a participant in this recycling of wonder. It is the canvas that allows the paint to exist. As you settle into your final rest, think of yourself as that canvas. You are the space where your life has been painted, but you are also the quiet, enduring fabric that remains when the colors soften for the night. If you could zoom out far enough until entire clusters of galaxies looked like tiny grains of sand, you would see that the universe looks almost biological. The cosmic web, with its filaments of light and vast voids of dark, resembles the neural pathways of a great resting brain. It is as if the universe itself is a giant organ of thought and awareness. In this view, the nothing is not empty space, but the very medium of a cosmic mind. Every star is a flickering neuron, and every stretch of space is a connection. When you enter the silence of sleep, you are not leaving the world. You are simply syncing your own mind with the larger, quieter mind of the cosmos. The dark energy that pushes the universe apart is not a force of separation, but a force of growth. It is the universe maturing, expanding its capacity for experience, making more room for the stories yet to be told. It is a slow, rhythmic expansion, a cosmic yawn that lasts for billions of years. As you feel your own body grow heavy and your thoughts grow distant, you're experiencing a small, personal version of that expansion. You are opening up. You are letting go of the small, cramped spaces of the day and entering the wide, open territory of the night. The fabric is here. It is strong. It is silent. It is the most ancient thing in existence. Yet, it is as fresh as the moment you first noticed it. It has held the weight of the beginning, and it will hold the weight of the end. And right now, in this quiet, unremarkable moment, it is holding you. It is curving around your rest, smoothing out the ripples of your mind and carrying you into the deep, dark, and beautiful nothing where dreams begin. In this deepening veil of the night, it is worth reflecting on the concept of symmetry. In the world of the very small and the very large, symmetry is the language the universe speaks to itself. We often think of space as a chaotic or random expanse, but the nothing is governed by an exquisite, almost musical balance. For every force, there is a counterforce. For every curve, there is a reason. This balance is what allows the fabric of space to remain so stable over such vast stretches of time. It is a cosmic equilibrium that ensures that no matter how much the universe expands, the fundamental laws that hold your atoms together never waver. The void is not a place of disorder. It is the ultimate expression of harmony. Think of a perfectly still, dark pond in the middle of a forest. The surface is so flat and so undisturbed that it reflects the moon with flawless precision. That stillness is the result of all the molecules of water pushing and pulling against each other in perfect unison. The vacuum of space is much the same. It is a sea of forces that have reached a state of perfect, quiet agreement. As you lie here, you are invited to find your own point of symmetry, the place where the demands of the world and the needs of your body meet and cancel each other out, leaving only a pure, centered stillness. You are aligning yourself with the baseline of the universe, the point where all the noise of existence settles into a single peaceful note. This symmetry extends to the very relationship between space and light. It is often said that space is the shadow of light, or perhaps that light is the ripple of space. They are two sides of the same coin, inseparable and complementary. Without the vast, dark background of the void, light would have no way to define itself. It would be a blinding, formless glare. It is the nothing that gives the light its direction, its speed, and its beauty. In the same way, the quiet moments of your life are what give the active moments their meaning. The rest you are entering now is not a break from your life. It is the symmetry that makes your life whole. It is the darkness that allows your own inner light to be seen. Imagine for a moment the scale of a single void, the vast, empty regions between the filaments of the cosmic web. Some of these voids are hundreds of millions of light years across. They are the quietest places in existence, so empty that a single atom might wander for 1,000 years without ever meeting another. And yet, even there, in the most isolated heart of the nothing, the fabric of space is still present. It is still carrying the ripples of gravity. It is still pulsing with the hidden energy of the vacuum. It is a reminder that you can never truly be outside the reach of the universe. Even in your most private, silent moments of rest, you are part of the cosmic architecture. The void is not a hole in reality. It is the very substance of it. As your thoughts begin to drift and blur, like stars seen through a soft evening mist, you might consider the idea that space is quantized. Some of our most advanced theories suggest that if you could zoom in far enough, space would look like a fine, shimmering lace, a network of tiny, interconnected loops. This means that at the most fundamental level, there is no such thing as separation. Everything is literally tied to everything else. The space between you and the furthest edge of the universe is not a gap. It is a bridge made of billions of tiny, invisible links. You are woven into the very texture of the infinite. This interconnectedness means that the universe is never truly silent or empty. It is always humming with the vibration of these connections. It is a soft, low-frequency song that has been playing since the dawn of time. As you settle deeper into your pillow, let that imagined hum be the background of your awareness. It is a steady, reassuring pulse, like the sound of a distant ocean or the wind in a high mountain pass. It is the sound of the universe simply being. You don't have to listen for it with your ears. You listen for it with your breath. With every slow, deep inhale, you are taking in a small piece of that cosmic vibration. With every exhale, you are releasing yourself back into the fabric. The nothing is also the ultimate protector. It is the vastness of space that keeps the planets from colliding and the stars from crowding each other out. It is the buffer that allows for individuality and growth. In the same way, the sleep you are approaching is a protective void. It is a space where the world cannot reach you, where your mind can process, heal, and dream in total privacy. It is the room the universe makes for you to be yourself, away from the friction of the day. The darkness of the night is not a wall. It is a sanctuary. It is the nothing that allows you to become everything in your dreams. So let the fabric of space hold you now. Feel the invisible threads of the cosmic web supporting your weight. Feel the curvature of space-time cradling your body. The universe is not a place you are visiting. It is a home you have never left. The void is not an absence. It is a presence so deep and so constant that we often forget to notice it. But here, in the stillness of the night, we can finally acknowledge it. We can thank the nothing for the room to breathe, the room to dream, and the room to rest. The expansion continues. The curves remain steady, and the silence is a lullaby that has no end. In this slow and final descent, we find ourselves contemplating the ultimate destiny of the nothing we inhabit. Just as the universe began with a silent expansion of space, it continues to evolve into a state of ever greater stillness. This isn't a process of decay, but rather a grand cosmic settling. Some thinkers describe the future of the universe as a long, slow cooling, a period where the stars eventually fade and the galaxies drift so far apart that the nothing becomes the dominant feature of reality. In this distant future, the fabric of space remains, but it is a fabric of pure, unadulterated peace. It is the universe in a state of final, perfect meditation. As you feel the heavy, comforting pull of sleep, you are touching a small fragment of that future stillness. We often fear the end of things, but in the logic of the vacuum, the end is simply a return to the source. The void was there before the first photon was ever emitted, and it will be there long after the last one has traveled its course. It is the eternal constant. By allowing yourself to drift into the deep dark of the night, you are practicing a form of cosmic trust. You are trusting that the silence is a safe place to be. You are trusting that the nothing is not a void that consumes, but a womb that preserves. Consider the transparency of your own awareness in these moments. The thoughts that passed through your mind earlier, the concepts of gravity, the imagery of the cosmic web, the feeling of the vacuum, have all begun to dissolve. What remains is the awareness itself, the clear, empty space in which those thoughts appeared. This is your personal space-time. It is wide, it is quiet, and it is infinitely flexible. It doesn't matter what happened during the day. The space of your mind is as fresh and as clean as the deep interstellar void. It is a place where you can begin again every single night. The expansion of the universe is often compared to a long exhale. If we think of the Big Bang as a great cosmic inhale, then we are currently living in the middle of a breath that lasts for trillions of years. Every part of our existence is synchronized with this slow, rhythmic movement. As you breathe now, slowly, deeply, without effort, you are echoing the largest rhythm in existence. You are a small, precious part of the universe's breath. There is no need to rush to the next moment. There is only the beauty of the expansion, the making of room, the spreading of the silence. In this state of near sleep, the distinction between your body and the room, and between the room and the cosmos, becomes beautifully unimportant. You are a collection of atoms, yes, but those atoms are mostly space. You are a mind, yes, but that mind is a field of awareness that has no edges. You are a part of the fabric. The same dark energy that gently nudges the galaxies away from one another is the energy that allows your muscles to completely relax, releasing the tension of the day into the infinite reservoir of the night. You are becoming as light as a photon, as vast as a void, and as silent as the vacuum. The nothing is not a destination. It is the journey itself. It is the medium through which we move, the air we breathe, and the silence we hear. It is the most humble part of the universe, never asking for credit, yet making everything else possible. As the last remnants of wakefulness fade again away, let your final thought be one of gratitude for the space, gratitude for the distance that gives us perspective, gratitude for the dark that gives us rest, and gratitude for the fabric that holds us all together in one seamless, beautiful whole. The universe is wide, the night is deep, the fabric is soft, and you are exactly where you are meant to be, drifting in the heart of the great, quiet nothing that is, in truth, everything. As your consciousness thins, like the trailing edge of a galaxy's spiral arm, we can turn our attention to the smallest spaces of all, the microscopic voids within your own body. Just as the universe is a vast expanse of nothing, holding together something, your own biology reflects this cosmic architecture. Inside every cell, there is a quiet, structured space where the molecules of life perform their slow, nightly repair. In the stillness of your rest, your body becomes a mirror of the cosmos. The nothing within you is busy now, clearing away the debris of the day, knitting together the fabric of your muscles, and refreshing the chemistry of your mind. It is a biological expansion, a making of room for a new day. This cellular restoration is a silent, effortless process. It doesn't require your permission or your effort. It happens in the gaps between your thoughts, in the deep, rhythmic hollows of your breath. As you sleep, your brain's own internal fluid system, the glymphatic system, opens up, much like the expansion of space, to wash away the shadows of the day's activity. It is a nightly tide, a gentle flooding of the nothing that leaves the landscape of your mind clean and clear. You are being renewed by the very silence you are sinking into. The void is not just outside you, it is a healing presence that moves through you, a quiet gardener tending to the fields of your being. Imagine the atoms that make up your pillow and the atoms that make up your skin. At this level of reality, there is no solid boundary. There is only a field of energy, a shimmering web where one thing fades into the next. You are literally merging with your surroundings, becoming part of the room, part of the night air, and part of the planet's slow rotation. This is the ultimate form of relaxation, the realization that you don't have to maintain a boundary. You can let the nothing in, and you can let yourself out. You are a ripple in the fabric, and the fabric is at rest. The tension of being an individual, of being a someone with a name and a history, can finally dissolve into the beautiful anonymity of the vacuum. In this state, time becomes as fluid as the space it is woven into. The minutes no longer tick by with urgency. They stretch and curve, becoming long, shallow pools of peace. A single moment of deep sleep can feel like an eternity of rest, because in the void, time has no master. You are entering the great flow, where the past is a distant echo and the future is a soft, unformed horizon. There is only the present, a wide, dark, and comfortable presence. You are floating in the now, and the now is infinitely spacious. It is a container that can hold all your dreams, all your memories, and all your potential without ever feeling crowded. As the last flicker of wakefulness departs, the fabric of space feels as soft as the finest silk against your mind. It is a texture of pure comfort, a material that has been tempered by the ages to be the perfect cradle for consciousness. You are no longer thinking about the universe. You are simply being carried by it. The nothing has become a warm, dark embrace, a sanctuary that knows you perfectly. It understands your need for silence, your need for space, and your need for deep, uninterrupted rest. It has provided everything you need. The stars are distant, the earth is quiet, and the fabric is steady. The story of the void is your story. It is the story of a silence that is full of life, of an emptiness that is full of energy, and of a nothing that is the foundation of everything. It is a reminder that even when we feel at our most empty, we are at our most full of potential. The night is not a loss of the light. It is the presence of the dark. And the dark is where all things begin. Rest now in that beginning. Let the curves of space-time hold you. Let the expansion carry you. Let the silence be your song. You are home in the fabric of the universe, and the universe is at peace.